right, guys, so it is the first day of the stay home reading rush, and I figured I would try to vlog this little 4-day readathon since it's just a really short amount of time. And it's kind of hard for me to vlog when chaos is ensuing around me, but I'm going to try to do it for these 4 days. So I thought that I would start off right out of the gate by doing the stay home reading rush tag that Ariel put out on YouTube. Oh my goodness, my brain is not functioning. Anyway, she put it out, but I put my TBR out video before she put the tag out, so I figured I would just do it right at the beginning of my vlog and answer some of these questions. So the first question on her tag is, how is your reading going while staying at home? And honestly, my reading's been fine. For like a week or so when things first started like all getting chaotic, I was not reading hardly anything. But I got out of that, and I'm actually been reading a lot more physically than I normally do. I'm still reading a ton of audiobooks, but I am reading more physically than I normally do. And so that's been a really, really nice thing that has kind of come about being at home so much. I'm not on the run, so I have more time to just sit and read. So that's been good, but I've been reading pretty much the same amount as I normally do, if not possibly a little bit more. So it's not been too bad. The second question is, where have you been reading at home? And I will insert a clip of my favorite reading spot. We recently got new living room furniture, and I just have this spot on one of the couches that is right next to a little lamp and an end table, and I just kind of like cozy in there, and that's where I typically read. I also will read in bed sometimes. When I read in bed, I typically read off of my phone and I'm laying down, and it's right before I go to sleep. And then I have another spot in my house in a different room that has my bookshelves in it that I like to read as well. It just depends on the day and the kids and where the kids are at and where I can find some quiet time. So those are the three spots that I read most often at home. The next question is, what's the best book that you've read during isolation? And actually, where is it at? I'm gonna grab it really quick. All right, so a book that I started during middle grade March and I finished it right at the beginning of April, and I've never heard anybody talk about, is Free Lunch by Rex Ogle. And this is a middle grade nonfiction book, and it's about a boy whose mom signs him up for the free lunch program at school because they are living below the poverty line. And it's just kind of his story about how that stigma, how he feels about it at school, and the whole living in poverty thing, and how like he wants to try out for football and his mom won't let him because they don't have insurance. And so if he gets hurt, they're kind of up the creek without a paddle. Things like that. There is a lot of abuse in this book, horrifying abuse that was really, really hard to read, especially in a book that is written for middle graders. But this book was so good because I think for kids that are going through similar circumstances, this book is so important to be out there in the world. It is just about, like I said, him and his attitude towards his mom, and how he is angry with his mom because she won't feed them and she won't go out and get a job. And it was very, very eye-opening and just a really great perspective to have. And I loved this book so, so much. I highly recommend it. And it's a very, very short book. But yeah, so that was probably the best book that I read while in isolation. The next one is, what is your favorite feel-good book? And I actually finally got this book back, but it is downstairs and I'm not going to run downstairs and get it. And the one that I'm going to say for this is Until Tomorrow, Mr. Marsworth. I have just been getting the itch to reread this again. It is one that just made my heart so happy, and I just loved it so much. Pretty much what I have found in kind of my reading habit since all of this started is that my feel-good books are hard-hitting, contemporary, middle grade. I don't know why, but any middle grade contemporary that is hard-hitting, I am just devouring and I'm loving. And I don't know why that makes me feel good. Maybe it's just like that sense of hope that comes at the end of them, but I have been loving it, and that is one that definitely just puts a smile on my face. And because it's middle grade and because it's epistolary, it reads super easy, super fast. And so, yeah, that's probably my answer for that one. The next one is, what is a book you wish you could buy or borrow from the library? And honestly, I don't really have an answer for this. I just got a huge book outlet order, and I've been ordering books off of Amazon anyway. My library is actually, it's closed, but it's open for curbside pickup, so you can put things on hold and then go pick them up. And so I've done that. I still need to go pick the books up. I have books waiting on hold for me, so I can get stuff. So I don't really have an answer for this. I don't know. Like I said, I've gotten a lot of things, maybe books for my kids. I take my kids to the library and they like browse and pick out their own things sometimes. And so I think that and like maybe a bigger variety of picture books to read to my kindergartner would be nice. If you hear chaos in the background, it's my kids. They're working on their chores. So anyway, that's probably my answer for that. The next one is an author you want to shout out during this time. And one that came to mind is Jarrett J. Krzyzewska. He is the author of Hey Kiddo, and that was a book I read in February. It's a memoir, graphic memoir of his, and the audiobook won an audiobook award this year, and it was fantastic. I listened to the audiobook and read the graphic novel at the same time, and it was fantastic. He has a YouTube channel, and he is doing kind of similar to what the Mo Willems like doodle lunchtime thing is, but like at a higher level, and he's showing like how to draw with JJK, I think is what he calls it, something along those lines. But it is so good. He goes into like how to draw emotion and character and how to draw facial expressions and like just color work and just all of the tips and tricks of his industry of how he draws. And he has a really nice setup. He has an overhead camera, and you can tell like as the videos progress, he's like learning how to utilize some of the functions and stuff. So it's just very authentic, but it's so good, and you can tell it's from his heart, and he just wants to teach people about his art, and it is really great. So that's more of an art side of it, but he's an author as well. So yeah, I think that's the one that I want to shout out right now. And then the last question is, what's your TBR? And I do have a TBR video up, but really quickly, I figured I would start off by telling you what my reading plans are starting today. So I am starting the audiobook of And of Windy Poplars. This is the book that I'm reading for the house on the cover, because there is a tiny little house way back here in the background. It counts. But I am going to be listening to the audiobook of that this weekend. And then the book for someplace that you would like to visit, I'm going to be reading Towers Falling. This is a middle grade book that is set in New York City. And so that is somewhere I would love to be visiting because I was supposed to be going there. The book to read like in one spot the whole time, I'm going to be reading The House on Mango Street. This is doubling up for, actually both of these two are doubling up for my Owl's Magical Read-a-thon. This is a contemporary I need to read for that. And then this is a book that's under 150 pages. And I'm going to try to read this all sitting in one spot. And I think it's just a book about like, oh yeah, it's a series of vignettes about Sandra Cisneros, her time living in a Latino community in Chicago. And then the book to make me smile, I have two different options. I have The Midnight Gang, which I need to read for my owls. This is going to be my book that starts with an M for my owls. I have the audiobook out. It's not very long. I think I'll be able to get through it pretty quickly. But then I also, in my book outlet haul, hauled Cosmic Commandos by Christopher Eliopoulos. This is a middle grade graphic novel. It's very simple, and I just thought that this would be fun, and it will probably make me smile. I have not read any graphic novels this month, so I figured that it wouldn't hurt to at least read one or two. I do have another one that isn't as like fun, so it won't make me smile. I don't think it's more of a serious one, but I have another one that I'm going to try to read this month as well. But so I figured it wouldn't be cheating too much to have at least one graphic novel. So that's kind of my game plan for the next 4 days. Starting off, I'm probably going to start, like I said, with this, and then I will probably start reading this today because it's the one I'm most excited about. But anyway, I will check in with you when I have an update. Like I said, my kids are all working on chores right now. We have to go pick up lunches from the bus stop. Our school system is dropping lunches off every day for all the kids at their bus stop. So we go do that, and then we get to do at-home school all day. So not all day. We typically go until about lunchtime, and then they're done. So then I have pretty much the rest of the day that I can read. So anyway, I will kind of take you along for the ride and check in with you when I have an update.
There you go.
Use manners.
You're welcome. There you go. He's right there. He's going.
What? Yeah, you got chips.
The cookies are really small for dessert.
And a sandwich too. What else you got?
Can I have different food?
Yeah, you can have different food.
Pop, pop. The popcorn goes.
Reading and coloring it, you need to have that done so that you're ready for Monday.
Okay, it is 3:30 and I thought I would pop on with a little bit of a reading update. I am about 40 pages into this. We finished school, we finished all that kind of stuff. I made some chicken for dinner tonight, and I'll like to put in with my dinner dish tonight, whatever. Anyway, and I sat down, I just started reading this. I'm about 40 pages in, and it's very interesting and good so far. We're following our main character, Deja, is 10 years old. She's in 5th grade, and she is homeless. She lives at a homeless shelter with her family, and she's starting at a new school, and one of the curriculum like assignments for that year is for them to kind of do a project on 9/11 and what it meant. And they're starting, like right now, the first assignment for this lesson plan or whatever is to describe their home. And so her teacher met with her and said, like, if you don't want to describe where you're currently living, because she's living at a homeless shelter, you don't have to. You can talk about where you lived before. And she's like, no, where I live now is my home. And it's not going to do anybody any favors for me to lie about it, because they're going to find out eventually, and I'm just going to have to answer to them eventually. But the whole like point of the lesson is for them to connect home to what 9/11 meant. And so I have a feeling like throughout the book we're going to get that lesson of like, what does home mean, and then how does that relate to 9/11. So anyway, it's really good so far. The tone of the book, Deja is very angry. She's ready for a fight all the time. She's, just very snarky a lot. I mentioned before I started the audiobook of this, and I DNF'd the audiobook because the narrator was like very just negative. And although that is the tone of the book, like I don't picture her as being so much attitude and so much negativity and all of that. So it's just, I don't know. It's an interesting one. I'm going to keep reading this. I also started the audiobook for And of Windy Poplars, and I'm not in the mood for this at all. Like, not even a little bit. So I listened to like an hour of it, and I think I'm just going to set it down. I think I'm going to start listening to the audiobook of The Midnight Gang and listen to that first, and then maybe tomorrow pick this one back up. Oh, sorry. And see maybe if I can get in the mood for this. I just haven't really been in the mood for this whole month, but I need to get it read for the Analong 2020 because I'm hosting the read along. I need to read the book. I'm just not really in the mood for the book. So anyway, that's where I'm at. But I'm going to sit and read this for a while yet. I don't need to start dinner for quite a while, and my kids are all playing. The little one's napping. Everybody's happy right now. So now is the time to read. So I'm going to do that, and I will check in with you with another update when I have one.
Abby.
What are you playing? Oh god, you want
Hey guys, so it is now Tuesday morning. I just got out of the shower, we did devotions, the kids did their chores, and they are doing school. And so my game plan for the day is I got that far into Towers Falling yesterday. So I'm planning on finishing this today and then starting on the house on Mango Street. And then I will be listening to The Midnight Gang. That's my plan for the day. I still need to read a book with a house on the cover, and I don't know if I'm going to do And of Windy Poplars. So I may pick up, once I get done with these, I may pick up Walking with Miss Millie because that was another middle grade that I was wanting to read, and that would be something that I think I would be more likely to want to pick up right now. So I may pick that up, but for today, this is my game plan. Like I said, I got this far into Towers Falling yesterday. I'm really enjoying this. It's giving me a very good perspective on things. It's set in New York. It's set 15 years after 9/11, so it is 2016. And this little girl is 10 years old. She's in fifth grade, and their school is doing a curriculum based on 9/11 and kind of broaching the subject with the kids. But it's very interesting because in fifth grade, half of the kids have no idea about 9/11 because their parents don't talk about it because it's hit so close to home. And like I was talking to my husband last night about things, and I go, us living in the Midwest, we just saw it as like this thing that happened to our country and it brought the country together and it was a horrible thing and we felt attacked and we were scared for a day and then we felt united. And for New Yorkers, it was horrifyingly, terrifyingly different. And for them to share that with their kids is a whole different thing. In the book, every time the subject comes up, her dad just reacts very, very negatively to it. And it is very much like, you do not need to be learning about this. You are too young to be hearing about this. I don't want you hearing about this, And so it's just a very different perspective on things than what I would have thought. And so anyway, it's definitely eye-opening. I'm very much looking forward to finishing it. And yeah, so that's the game plan. That and then this and The Midnight Gang on audiobook. So anyway, yeah, that's all we really have planned today. In about 10 minutes, we got to go pick up the lunches from the bus stop with the kids. And then I will start helping the kindergartner with her schoolwork and then reading more today. This is how my days have been going. This is why I've been reading so much, is because I literally have nothing to do. I do laundry and I do dishes and I cook dinner, and I am not trying to keep my house spotlessly clean because there are 4 kids living in it constantly, and the weather has not been super nice outside, so they haven't been able to really get outside, and it's just kind of been a mess. So anyway, that's the game plan. I will check in with you when I have an update. Okay, it is after lunch. I'm getting ready to put the little one down for a nap, but I wanted to take a break because I've read a few pages out of Towers Falling, and I've listened to a couple chapters of The Midnight Gang, but something that I need to work on today is my reading journal. I plot out what I'm going to draw before I do my plan with me's. I sketch it all out with pencil, and I need to start my May spreads. So I figured that I would do this while I'm listening to my audiobook for probably about an hour and a half or so. It takes quite a bit of time for me to get it all figured out. But anyway, so I'm going to work on that for a little while. I do need to put the little one down for a nap here, probably in the next 10 to 15 minutes. But anyway, so I'm going to get started on that and listen to more of The Midnight Gang, which is fine right now. I'm 6 chapters in, 45 minutes or something, and it's fine. It's nothing great so far, but I'm hoping that the storyline picks up and it starts capturing my interest more. So that's what I'm going to be working on now. Okay, so a little bit of an update. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I got most of my bullet journal drafted, which is good. I kind of hit a lull, or I just didn't feel like any of the themes that I had picked out. I didn't feel like doing any of them. So it was just kind of a meh month for me as far as planning the bullet journal went, but you're going to have that. I've been really, really excited about all of my spreads up until this month, and this month I'm just kind of wah wah. So it's okay. I think it'll still turn out fine. When I do the plan with me and add color to it and stuff, I think it'll turn out well, so stay tuned for that. But while I was doing that and cleaning and all of that, I was listening to The Midnight Gang by David Walliams, And I'm about halfway through the audiobook, and I think I'm going to DNF it. It's just not doing anything for me. I don't care. Like, I can kind of see already where they're going with all of it, and I just don't care. So instead of wasting my time on it, I'm just going to DNF it, which means I am back to square one as far as audiobooks go. So we'll see. But I think I will read the Cosmic Commandos graphic novel probably this weekend. And then I think what I'm going to do is I have a graphic novel that I got via ebook from my library, and it's called When Stars Are Scattered, I think. But it's a new middle grade graphic novel by Victoria Jameson and another person. It's basically the other person's memoir, and Victoria Jameson like wrote it with him and illustrated it. And so I'm reading that, and it's about refugees in Africa. So they are from Somalia, him and his brother. And so anyway, I started it yesterday, I think. And it has the little like huts that they live in on the cover of it. Like, I'll put a picture up here. It's probably already up there. But that would count for a book with house on the cover. And I need to read that one for my owls as well. So I think I'm going to do that, which means 2 graphic novels, but it is what it is. Like I said, I have not read any graphic novels this month up until this point, so I'm calling it good. Yeah, so I am going to sit for a while and read Towers Falling, finish this up because I still haven't finished it yet. I just haven't been reading much today. I was working on my bullet journal and then cleaning, and now I finally have a minute. I'm going to sit down and read this, and I think we're going to order pizza for dinner tonight. So we'll do that, and then I may not get to House on Mango Street today. This may have to wait until tomorrow. But anyway, I will keep you posted, and yeah, I'll check in with you later. Hey guys, so it is now Saturday morning. I look rough because I have not showered yet today. I actually think I might straighten my hair today. I have been like so sick of my hair lately. It has not been cooperating with me, and I'm just sick of it. So I think I might straighten it today so that it can just be, and I don't have to mess with it being all crazy. So I think that's on the agenda for today. But yesterday, reading wise, I did finish Towers Falling. It was very good. I really appreciated the author's note at the end of this. It explained that Jewel Parker Rhodes, who is the author, she wrote this as a teaching mechanism for schools. So she wrote it specifically with schools in mind and how to teach younger children about the horrors of 9/11, and I thought it was done very, very well. There is a racially diverse cast in this book, and I appreciated that. It also just talks about the reality, like I said, of 9/11 in New York. And I think being in the Midwest, we are very far removed from that, and we don't really understand the gravity of it sometimes. But it was very eye-opening. I'm glad I read it, and I think it would be a very good teaching tool for kids probably like a 5th grade. The girl in here is in 5th grade, and I think that would be probably the appropriate reading level for this. The other thing that I liked is in the back of the book, they have all of these activities and a discussion guide, and then, sorry, my kids are banging around, different activities. So like stuff on how to write poems, an autobiographical collage project, text and art, comparing and contrasting like different things, how to do like a tribute and thank you for first responders and how they can show that. And there's just like different assignments kind of that teachers can give their students that have to do with this book. It was well done. I'm glad I read it. I ended up giving it 4 stars. So I did finish that. I also am making headway in The Stars Are Scattered, or the graphic novel that I was talking about yesterday. I don't even remember. My brain is just mush. But I am reading this one, and I'm actually doing this one for my Owls Read-a-thon as well, and I'm reading it only at night, so it's taking a little bit to get through because I only read it when it's dark outside. So I am making my way through that one. I also this morning started Cosmic Commandos. This is just fun. It is about a kid who gets a toy in a cereal box and it grants wishes, and he starts becoming a character out of his favorite video game, and it's just fun. So this is doing the job of making me smile, which I figured it would. My kids are screaming. They're fine. They're just screaming. And then the last two that I had that I need to read are And of Wendy Poplar Still. I do want to get back to the audiobook of this. I think it'll be fine. I think I just wasn't really in the mood for it the other day. So I may listen to this maybe while I'm straightening my hair. Who knows? I may also listen to a podcast or something. We'll see. But the game plan is to get back to this at some point via audio, and then to physically read The House on Mango Street. So I need to physically read these two. I'm ebook reading my other graphic novel, but I do need to read this one and the other graphic novel for my Owls read-a-thon. So I would like to get at least half of this done today, and then maybe I'll do half tomorrow. It shouldn't be too hard. But I was also able to read all of this sitting in the same place. So I have officially completed 2 of the 4 challenges. So I just need to do, and I guess technically this has houses on the cover because all those sky rises in New York, people live there. So really, I guess it's 3 out of the 4. I just need to read one that will make me smile, because while this one did have hope in the end of it, it was still a very like somber book. So anyway, that's the game plan. That was a lot of rambling. I think I'm gonna go hop in the shower and straighten my hair. And my kids are supposed to be doing their chores. We'll see if they actually get done or not. But anyway, and then it's just gonna be Saturday. Like, we have not been doing anything productive with our quarantine. We've just kind of been doing day-to-day monotonous things. My husband, I think tomorrow is going to patch some walls in some bedrooms so we can do some painting that we already have here at home. And that's it. We don't really have a lot of house projects that need to get done. And like I said, I've given up on trying to deep clean my house. That's just not going to happen anytime in the near future, because I do it and then I turn around and it's all a mess again. So anyway, yeah, that's the game plan for today. And I will check in with you when I have another update.
You may not go by that.
Wait, Mom.
Oh, sorry.
Dad. Dang it, Adeline. Hey, Dad. Adeline.
Can you get out of the way? That man wants to take a professional. You want to come? I'll watch you. Ready? Whoa! You are a brave boy.
Jumps in the air.
Oh, you want to skip?
That's a big one.
It's a perfect walking stick for you, Daddy. Yeah.
Whoa! He just jumped.
Super cool.
Hey guys, so I have a little bit of a reading update. It is now like 6 o'clock on the evening, and I am probably about a third of the way into Captain Cosmic Commandos. This is just fun. Just kind of picking it up here and there, but the family went on a hike earlier, so I'll insert some footage from that. I straightened my hair, as you can see, so I don't have to mess with that anymore. And I'm about halfway through The House on Mango Street. I chose to sit up on my bed and read this, which is not my typical reading spot, but it works. And I'm enjoying this. It's different than I thought. I thought it was a nonfiction, like, memoir. It is not. It's a novel. It's fiction, and it's just little vignettes of this girl's kind of coming of age story of her time living in a Latino community in Chicago. So it's been very interesting. Some of the vignettes I've been enjoying, some of them are kind of meh, but I have been enjoying it. And like I said, I'm about halfway through that. So yeah, the game plan for tonight is to continue reading this as much as I can. I will read When the Stars Are Scattered, or whatever the name of that book is, tonight after the sun goes down, because I have to read it when it's dark outside. And then my family, we live kind of all over the place, but my family is doing a online euchre tournament, which euchre is a card game that is specific, I think, to Indiana, which is where I'm originally from. But it is just a fun card game that we play, and so there's an app that we can kind of play on that. And so we divided everybody into teams, and we're doing a tournament. So I have a game I need to play for our tournament tonight. So I'll be doing that here in about an hour. And we still need to do dinner. So I think we're just going to do leftovers for dinner tonight. But anyway, that's the game plan for tonight. And yeah, I will check in with you when I have more to say. Oh, no, I take that back. I do have more to say. I restarted the audiobook for Anne of Windy Poplars, and I'm loving it now. So I think it was just I had the speed too high earlier when I was or yesterday when I was trying it, or the other day, I don't know, whatever day the day is. I don't remember days anymore. Anyway, I think I had the speed turned up too fast, and so I slowed the speed down and started over, and now I'm loving it again. So timing and speed are everything when it comes to, and narrators are everything when it comes to audiobooks. So I got through 5 chapters, I think, of that. I'm about 20% of the way in to Anne of Windy Poplars, so I will probably not finish it before the end of the readathon, but that is the audiobook that I will continue listening to when I have a chance. So anyway, that's my update. I have a little one eating snacks with me and watching cartoons. Can you say hi?
Oh.
No. Anyway, but that is kind of where I'm at with my reading so far. I don't know if I'll get another chance to check in tonight, but if not, I will check in with the morning and let you know where I get with all of this. So anyway, talk to you later. Hey guys, so it is Sunday morning. I am out on my one weekly outing that I get to get groceries, and today I get to go to Target because I need diapers, and that's where we get diapers. So I am at Target right now. As far as reading goes, I am about 2/3 of the way through The House on Mango Street. I will finish that today. It's good. It's different than I was expecting, but it's good. It's a lot more literary than what I typically read, so I'm glad it's really short because it typically takes me longer to read those types of books, but I am enjoying it though. And then I have been listening to the audiobook of Anne of Windy Poplars while I'm out and about, and I will continue doing that. So anyway, I'm gonna run in and grab some diapers, and I will check in with you when I have more to say. Okay, so I got diapers, and more importantly, they still had Tootsie Roll eggs in stock. So all their Easter candy is on clearance, and Target is the only place around me that carries Tootsie Roll eggs. If you have not had these, do not sleep on them. They are the best candy in the universe, and they come individually wrapped, and they are perfect and so soft and wonderful. So I got the rest of the bags that they had at my store. But anyway, so I walked around for a little bit. It was nice just to get out. Got everything sanitized now, and now I have to run over to Walmart, which is not as much fun, but such is life. So anyway, I will talk to you later.
What on earth was going on in his mind? Would he jump if anyone stuck a pin in him? Anne wanted to slap him, wrap his knuckles, stand him in a corner, treat him like the spoiled child he really was. It's spite of his spiky gray hair and truculent mustache. Above all, she wanted to make him speak. She felt instinctively that nothing in the world would punish him so much as to be tricked into speaking when he was determined not to.
Okay, it is Monday morning. The stay-home reading rush is over. I failed at checking in again yesterday because that's how I am. But I figured I would just kind of go over everything that I read or attempted to read during this read-a-thon and let you know kind of where I stood with everything. So yesterday I was able to finish When Stars Are Scattered, and I did look it up. This is by Omar Mohammed and Victoria Jameson. So it's kind of not autobiographical, but kind of whatever. It's the story of Omar Mohammed's life. Victoria Jameson helped him write it and like transform it into graphic novel, and she did all of the artwork and all of that. But it's pretty much the story of Omar Mohammed's life. They had to take a little bit of creative liberties. They created a couple of characters, but it was based off of his memories of living in the, I'm gonna totally butcher the pronunciation of this, but I think it's Dadaab refugee camp in Kenya. He was born in Somalia, and he had to flee Somalia when he was 4 years old with his younger brother, and he was separated from his mother. His father was killed, and he was separated from his mother, and they fled. They ended up in Kenya at this massive, massive refugee camp. And it's the story of his life there and growing up and the process of going to school and trying to obtain an education and taking care of his younger brother who has severe developmental disabilities and just medical needs that were not being taken care of. And it's the story of him and his process towards getting resettled. He was eventually resettled to the United States, and what that process looked like for him. And it was amazing. It was such an amazing story, and it was told for middle graders. And one of the things that I loved about this book was that it wasn't political. It wasn't, at the end, it wasn't like, oh, we have to help save all the refugees. Not that that's a bad thing to say, because we do need to help them, but that wasn't the stance of the book. The book was just, this was my experience, and you know, there are millions and millions of people living in refugee status right now, and how can we help them? We can't resettle all of them. That's just not possible, but how can we help? And here are some resources if you want to look into it more. And it was just a story. So I love that it didn't take a political approach about it, and it just talked about hope and how they were taught to like live each day for the day that it is and be grateful for what you're given. Don't focus on what you've lost or focus on what you don't have, but you focus on what you do have and the gifts that you've been given. And it was a wonderful book. Highly, highly recommend it. It just came out. So I did finish that one last night. I gave it 5 stars. I thought it was fantastic. I also finished yesterday Cosmic Commandos by Christopher Eliopoulos. This was okay. This was like a very basic middle grade graphic novel. It's about a little boy who's a twin and hates being a twin and keeps telling his twin brother, stop looking like me, and is just very simple. And he finds a ring in a cereal box that says, like, if you make a wish and twist the ring, your wish will come true. And he ends up turning into a character from one of his favorite video games, and just kind of what comes of that. It was all right. It was like 2 stars. The artwork in it, the artwork in this, though, was really, really well done. So I really do like Christopher Eliopoulos' illustrations, but the story was just okay. Yesterday, I also finished The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros. This was another one that was okay for me. I enjoyed parts of it. I think this was just too literary for my simple brain. I'm not a very literary reader. I don't like things that are like really heavy. And this was just a little bit too abstract for me, I think. I'm glad it was short. I'm glad the chapters are literally like 2 pages long, and that's it. And so I'm glad for that, because that was about all the attention I had for each of the like specific topics. But I ended up giving this one 3 stars. I really liked the story that she was telling. I understand the significance of this book and how important it is. And so I appreciate that. And so this one got 3 stars. But this one was to fill the prompt of a book that made me smile, which it kind of did. This was the book that I read all in one spot, although technically I read a couple of these all in one spot, but this one I had to read for my Owls Read-a-thon anyway, so I read that all sitting on my bed. I also listened to part of And of Windy Poplars. I did not finish this. I am about like 40% of the way through this book, maybe, something like that. And I'm enjoying it. It's not my favorite Anne of Green Gables book. I can already tell it's not going to be my favorite, but it's okay. It's just told differently. It's told in letters, but it's not complete letters. It's like excerpts from letters that she's writing to her fiance, and it's about her time being the principal of a secondary school, and it's okay. So I'm still in the process of reading that though. I finished Towers Falling by Jewel Parker Rhodes. This was the book set somewhere that I want to go, which is New York City, and it was good. This talks all about 9/11. I already talked a lot about it, but I ended up giving it 4 stars. And then I also made the decision officially to DNF permanently The Midnight Gang. I've attempted reading this a couple of times now, and it's just not for me. So we're gonna DNF this one, and it'll go back to the library unread, and I'm gonna take it off of my TBR and all that jazz. So I think that is everything that I read during this readathon. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed kind of getting a glimpse into what we've been doing during our quarantine. It's not been a whole lot. Yeah, a lot of the house projects I haven't been doing because my husband does them during the weekends when he's home from work, because he does not like just being. He likes being really, really active. And so he kind of hoards the projects so that he can do them. But that's okay. That, you know, we kind of have that understanding with each other. And yeah, I think today I'm going to cut like 5 inches off my daughter's hair. So that should be fun. Wish me luck. I am not a beautician, but it needs to be done. So who knows? Maybe I'll go crazy and cut a couple more kids' hair too while I'm at it. We'll see. We'll see how bored I get, right? But anyway, I think that's going to do it for me this time around. I hope that you enjoyed this, and if you participated in this stay home reading rush, I would love to hear what one of your favorite books was that you read. And yeah, if you have any thoughts about any of these books that I read, I would love to hear your comments down below. And other than that, I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope that you stick around and subscribe. And until next time, see ya.